Stephen, of course, here with us to give a sensible viewpoint. Dermot, of course, is here as well. Very good morning to you, Dermot.
Good morning, Rob.
Right, let's get straight to the Emirates. Controversial sending off for Declan Rice, the first of his career. You could hear what Arsenal fans made of referee Chris Kavanagh's decision to show Rice a second yellow card for delaying a restart just there.
Look, he knows what he's doing. And secondly, the touchline. And I say the touchline because he knocks it, people say he didn't knock it very far, but he actually knocks it off the field, so he definitely can't restart play. So referee Chris Kavanagh's got nowhere to go, really. He'd had a yellow card for a lunging tackle in the first half. Second yellow card mandatory. Gets sent off.
OK. Is there ever a moment with a technicality like that a referee can use common sense and say, come on, Declan, for goodness sake?
Common sense and refereeing don't actually go hand in hand, do they? Because when a referee uses common sense, I come here on a Monday and you say, well, hang on, we saw this given, we got told this, and he hasn't followed it. So the common sense that you're talking about is to avoid the issue, if you like, and not carry out its duties. The referee has used common sense, in my view, because the common sense is to apply the law correctly, which he has done.
What about the idea that Veltman knew exactly what he was doing?
Maybe so, but it doesn't exonerate what Rice did. Veltman, all Veltman can do is take the kick. I mean, he couldn't take the kick for definite because the ball disappeared. And the fact that some people argue the ball was moving when he went to take the free kick, so therefore wasn't even a proper free kick anyway, and should have been brought back because the ball was moving. Do you buy into that argument? It can only be brought back if Veltman kicks the ball, because it's Rice that commits the offence, not Veltman. If Veltman kicks the ball and it's moving, then the referee whistles and brings it back. But that didn't occur. What happened is Rice made sure he couldn't kick the ball, whether it was legally able to kick it or illegally able to kick it. OK,
in the poll at the moment, 74%, I'm hearing, 74% of you saying that Declan Rice shouldn't have been sent off. Are you in the 74? Please don't ask me to do the other. 26%.
Well done, Rob.
Yeah, maths at 6 at school. Are you in the 26% or in the 74%? Should that red card have been given?
You work it out from this. So don't give the referee the decision. I don't like it. I don't think it warrants a yellow card. But it doesn't under the laws of the game. It's frustrating from Declan Rice's point of view, but it's stupid as well. So we've got the ball here, and I know it's the opposite side, but if Sue is Veltman here, then he can kick me.
Whack him.
But all I need to do is, if you're going to play the ball that way, Declan Rice is looking that way, so he knows what's longer down the pitch as well. But that, I don't even have to look at the ball, and I know I can kick it. So he knows exactly what he's doing. So Arsenal fans who have probably voted this morning saying, oh, he hasn't done it on purpose. He absolutely has. I know where that ball is now. I'm looking at you. I know exactly where it is. I can see it all the time. So he knows what he's doing. Don't give the referee the option, especially when you're on a yellow card. But also Veltman knows exactly. Declan Rice is being booked. You know who's being booked in a game, whether it's right or wrong. I'm gonna try my best to get him
sent off. These guys look straight down the pitch.
Who's Declan Rice?
Veltman's.
Yeah, they do. But he also knows Declan Rice is very close to him. He's looking to play a longer ball. So by knocking it off that line, he knows exactly what he's doing, Declan Rice. So I think it is a second yellow.
Yeah, first of all, I don't like it. And I don't think the referee actually liked doing it. You could see by his face, he was like, oh, I'm going to have to give you a red card, a second yellow, which is a red card for this. I don't think he wanted to do it, but it is the rules, and that's the thing. And I think I'm with you in the term, in the fact of Declan Rice did know what he was doing, because he looks down at the ball before he kicks it away. So he knows that Veltman wants to take a free kick. I'm just going to knock it out of play. So I can understand the frustration from Declan Rice and from Arsenal fans, because I don't like it either. But it is the rules of the game, and you know that as a player, because like you said, they've been briefed. They know that by stopping them playing, you're going to get a second yellow. So don't give them the opportunity to do that.
Consistency as well, Dermot, perhaps the source of frustration for Arsenal fans, because they're furious, wondering why João Pedro didn't receive a booking for a more obvious example in the first half. So what was the difference?
the difference being the ball's gone out of play, the referee feels that there's no Arsenal player there. He could well have yellow carded him. He chose not to. I think he chose not to because the ball goes straight to the goalkeeper who fielded it back. By the time the ball was back, the Arsenal players were ready to take the throw in. He also may feel it didn't stop Arsenal attacking. Like Veltman had that opportunity to play the ball down the line. Rice took that opportunity away from him.
Intent as well. You can't mind read a footballer, can you? He might argue, Pedro, that he thought the ball was still in play, so he gave it a whack.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can argue, Rob, but the overriding thing is, whatever happened with the Brighton player, it didn't exonerate what Rice did.
OK. You happy with that?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, and just to go back to your point there, when you say he might have thought it was in place, he gave it a whack, that's when you know he knows it's not in play.
Yes.
So he knows, again, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Arguments.
But this is the consistency we're looking for.
Yeah, does that frustrate you, Sue?
Yeah, I think, because you would say that is another yellow. That's the only thing, if I was João Pedro, I'd probably say, I didn't think it was out, I was just playing it down the line. So that would be my reason for doing it. But like Stephen said, I think he knew. So that's got to be a yellow too.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, though, that as Stephen so aptly simulated the first one, would you like to simulate the other one?
It's an expensive studio, this, David.
We got a lot of lights out there, a lot of lights. Yeah, consistency and the frustration when that's not... I think we might come back to that. Let's talk about Rice's first yellow card. It was looked at by VAR, of course, and cleared for a possible red outcome.
Definitely. This is also a tackle that I talk about many, many times. If you're a young lad learning how to referee, you see the ball, he's overrun the ball, he's knocked it too far. His immediate reaction is, I've got to get that back. So he's reaching for it. And what you do as a referee, the alarm bells ring and you don't prejudge, you prepare. Watch this, see what happens. But he's low, he hasn't gone in with the studs showing, yellow card.
It was interesting when he got up, he said it was a 50-50, and I was thinking, it's not an argument, is it? When
play in the North London derby, so what does Mikel Arteta do?
Well, there's a double blow for Arsenal because 48 hours before that Brighton game, Mikel Arteta lost Mikel Merino, the new £30 million midfield signing, in his first training session. You can see him there with his arm in a sling. He's fractured his shoulders. Reports in the newspaper say he could be out for up to 2 months. So it leaves Arsenal with a real midfield dilemma. We don't know really who's going to be able to play in that midfield because there's a heavy reliance on Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard, who sort of have to play in this midfield now because they're the only two natural sort of central midfielders available. So it's just a question of who plays in this last part. Of course, this could all change. It might not be Timber, it could be Calafiori, Zinchenko, it might not be Trossard, it might be Martinelli, but Mikel Arteta does have options, but they're not the most foolproof options to play in this sort of left 8 midfield role. And we're going to take a look at the minutes of some of the contenders that Mikel Arteta has at his disposal. So the big one is... So these are the stats of Arsenal players playing in the number 8. These are the number of minutes they had in that left number.
In that specific position, because he obviously plays in different positions.
Exactly.
So
it's the specific position. It's not a defensive midfielder. It's more of like an attacking midfielder. Now, Kai Havertz started last season as an attacking midfielder for Arsenal, so that's why he's top of the list. And he might potentially be the favourite just to drop back from that striker role and then play in that midfield. Now, Leandro Trossard has actually said that attacking midfield is his best position. It's his favourite position. So he could be another option.
He might get a start.
Exactly. He might drop back from that left wing. He started against Brighton and then Martinelli can come in. Now, Jorginho hasn't played that many minutes as a number 8. He's mainly played as a defensive midfielder, number 6. So maybe Mikel Arteta could tweak it and play 2 number 6s and then have Martin Odegaard further front. That would be Jorginho next to Thomas Partey. Then you get into the really interesting ones. Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, both on the bench against Brighton. They were warming up as soon as Declan Rice's red card happened. It would be a major vote of confidence from Mikel Arteta to play these teenagers. Nwaneri, obviously, we all remember him. He became Arsenal's youngest ever Premier League player when he came on against Brentford 2 seasons ago, age 15. He got 15 minutes against West Ham last season when Arsenal were already 6-0 up. Is the North London derby the platform for him?
Bit big.
It is a bit big. Same for Lewis Skelly. He's sort of like an inverted left-back option who's mainly a midfielder. So, yeah, it would be a big one for him. And then you've got the inverted fullbacks who could be an option. Now, Ben White, Yuri and Timber, Alex Zinchenko all have experience of playing as a midfielder during their career. So maybe that could be a wild card option for Mikel Arteta to do in that North London derby a week on Sunday.
One of the biggest of games to have a wild card option for Mikel Arteta. So
Arsenal have announced the number 30 shirt will be worn by new signing Raheem Sterling. The England winger joined on loan from Chelsea on transfer deadline day, having been frozen out by the Gunners' London rivals. He will now hope to bolster Arsenal's Premier League title hopes, having watched the weekend draw against Brighton from the stands. Sterling joined up with his new teammates for training on Monday, with 2 weeks until a potential debut against Tottenham. Having not been called up for international selection, he will spend time working under Mikel Arteta to get up to speed on his new team style of play. Arsenal were unable to give Sterling his usual number 7 shirt, which he wore for both Manchester City and Chelsea, due to Bukayo Saka being that squad number's incumbent. But the number 30 had recently been vacated by Matt Turner, and the ex-Liverpool forward joins the list of its holders, including Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Rio Maiachi, and Yossi Benayoun. Other options were available for Sterling, such as the number 10, number 14, and number 21 shirts left by Emile Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, and Fabio Vieira after their recent moves. The number 31 he donned at Anfield was also available. Arsenal officially announced their new man squad number on Tuesday, but had seemingly appeared to accidentally leak the shirt when announcing his signing, with a hastily deleted link to buy Sterling's number 10 jersey on the official club website. Arsenal found it odd that the Saudis expressed interest when they could not replace the Belgian and therefore turned down the offer. However, it also seems unlikely that Leandro Trossard would have wanted to make the move anyway. Although the Belgian has been struggling to start games at the Emirates, he has been an important player for Arsenal, even as a substitute. He often scores when he gets on the pitch, but as a player of his caliber, he will be looking to secure more starts at the Emirates. This is why the Saudis thought they had a chance, but the attacker had already stated that he was ready to stay and fight for his place at the Emirates. Star Sports quotes him, saying, "I know the competition in the team, and it pushes everyone to go on to the next level, and as I said before, I'm very happy to have an impact and help the team." After making his deadline day move from Chelsea, Raheem Sterling feels that switching from West and North London is the right move at this stage of his career. The England international managed to complete a season-long loan move from the Blues just before the summer window shut, wrapping up our business after a busy few months by securing the services of a hugely decorated player with 4 Premier League winners' medals under his belt. And as he surveyed his options, Raheem felt that there was one club that was ideal for him to take the next step in his career with, and was delighted when we came calling. Reflecting on his switch, he said I'm buzzing. It's one where we left it late, but it's one I was hoping for. Looking at everything, I'm just like this is a perfect fit for me, and I'm super happy that we got it over the line. It's a perfect fit for myself to be at a football club like this, where you can see that hunger, that desire, year on year, they are pushing and pushing and pushing. That's exactly how I am as a person. Each year you want to get better and do better than the previous year. Hopefully I can gel really well with the boys and get going. It's time now to meet the boys, get settled in, and hopefully now see some game time and make my mark. Raheem is a player that Mikel Arteta knows very well indeed, as the pair previously worked together at Manchester City for 3.5 years, a period of time that saw the 82-time capped forward produce his best productive goal-scoring seasons. Both will be hoping to recapture that scintillating form that pushed City to new levels in the Premier League. And having seen his former assistant manager revitalize our fortunes, Raheem can't wait to experience his methods once again. He's a top guy, a top character, he said of his new boss. I've been watching his journey because I spent some time with him at Manchester City, and to see him come in here and stamp his mark on this amazing football club with this amazing history, it says a lot about him and the great job he is doing here. You can see the real togetherness, the journey that the boys are on, and the hunger. The togetherness is something I'm looking to be a part of. I'm really excited. There are always challenges, and this is another challenge. It's one that I'm relishing, and it'll really go out there and do my thing. It's been a steady start to the Premier League campaign for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal with 7 points from their first 3 games. The Gunners will feel aggrieved not to have taken maximum points from their most recent outing, having been a goal to the good against Brighton thanks to Kai Havertz's opener, but a red card for Declan Rice changed the dynamic of the game. A second-half strike from João Pedro ensured a share of the spoils. Arsenal know all too well that every point counts, having gone so close to winning the Premier League title in the last 2 campaigns, only to be snared by Manchester City. The international break will give Arteta an opportunity to further work with those in his squad who have not been called up by their respective countries. One of those being summer signing Raheem Sterling. The 29-year-old is no stranger to Arteta, having spent 3.5 years together at Manchester City. The Gunner style of play is not too dissimilar to that of Pep Guardiola's side, so it should not take too long for Sterling to get up to speed, despite spending the last 12 months at Chelsea. With a North London derby on the horizon, followed by a trip to Manchester City, not to mention a Carabao Cup clash with Bolton and a Champions League tie with Atlanta crammed somewhere in between, Arteta will have to make use of the full squad at his disposal. So how can he get Sterling into the side and up to speed quickly? One suggestion involves shuffling the pack. David Raya has made an impressive start to the season, as have Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Jurrien Timber. So it makes little sense to change a solid base. But with the latter of the defensive quartet forced off with injury against Brighton, Ricardo Calafiori will no doubt come in from the off in the fortnight that follows the international break. If Timber's injury isn't as bad as first suspected, Arteta should stick with the aforementioned defensive base against Spurs. The suspension to Rice and injury to Mikel Merino means Arteta will have to rethink his midfield plan ahead of an important run of fixtures. Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard will likely start against Spurs, and Arteta must toy with the decision to bring in a like-for-like midfielder, someone like Jorginho, or opt for a midfield wildcard option. Allow me to explain. Havertz has started the season in fine form with 2 goals and 1 assist to his name. And make no mistake, we're not suggesting dropping him from the side, simply moving him into a deeper midfield role. He may not offer as much defensive cover as Rice, but he'll be able to add a goal threat into the midfield 3 and impress there against Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool in preseason. That would create a space in the side up top for Arteta to repeat a